That's kicked off right away. Merry Christmas. We celebrate Christmas all through. That's kicked off right away. Yeah, seems to be going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Well, let's go over to Swedish game makers Brawlidays Symphony to start off the day. Here we go. Let's see. Here goes the conductor going up to the orchestra. Here he goes. Thinks this stuff up. And it all gets put back together. Happy Brawlidays. Okay, so that is from Swedish game maker Supercell. Okay, what's the name of it? Yeah, Supercell.oi. Supercell.oi. Anyway, they've done a series of these, and this is the latest. I haven't seen the other series, but I thought I would let you know. Okay, this next article is a CBS local station, and this is Wendy McCammon, and she's pointing out that Nielsen is going to put in broadband only and weight them higher than local broadcast TV. The way TV audiences work is that there's a certain very small sample set that had a clicker on their TV that could tell what channel the TV was on, whether the TV was on and what channel it was watching. Of course, as I've pointed out many times, that doesn't mean anyone is actually there. It just means the TV is on and someone is there. Now, before the clicker things, there were diaries that required people to write in the shows that they were watching. And they were a little haphazard. We all knew that. But at least we knew that real people were watching the shows. Now we just know the clicker is watching the show. And now they've taken that and substituted an internet version of that, because they know that a lot of people like me don't watch TV on from their regular antenna. For some reason, the Fox News, which is the one that has the Packer games, doesn't come in all the way from, once it got digital, it always was a little shaky. I get 40 other channels, but don't ask me why. Channel 6 comes and goes. Anyway, so sometimes I watch TV. Actually, my new TV, I bought a TV. It actually does bring in Fox without any trouble. But my wife likes to watch stuff on that TV. Anyway, so the point is that it's complicated. It's really complicated. I can watch YouTube on that new TV, and I can watch local TV because I do have an antenna, or I can watch a version of local TV on a broadband channel. And so Wendy is saying that Nielsen doesn't count it very well, and it's very likely they don't. They're limited by the same epistemological barriers that all of the other digital channels are limited by. You don't have to do anything to engage. You don't have to be engaged. You just have the TV on. You just have YouTube play. A lot of times I'll come down in the morning and I forgot to turn off my computer and YouTube was set to autoplay. And who knows where it's at by now. It's whatever the algorithm thought people would want to see. And what a surprise. The algorithm dished it up and the algorithm played it. And now the algorithm is proven correct since I didn't have anything to do with it and it went on for hours. Okay, so let's go on. This was such a super duper article that I decided to just do it. And this was from Canada. Why toy shops and Amazon are tapping into paper catalogs. I always like when it spells it with the British spelling. I knew it wasn't from the U.S., but I didn't know where it was from until I got down into the article a little bit. And this is a nice picture, too. It's got the catalogs sort of open in a nice artistic way. Don't know what those are. But it says paper is part of the seasonal marketing for both brick and mortar and online retailers. Okay. So it says, did you receive them? Found in many mailboxes, catalogs from Toys R Us, Mastermind Toys, and perhaps most surprisingly, the highly profitable digital retailer Amazon. Okay, and the style consultant did actually get an Amazon catalog, which is funny because she doesn't have any kids. She's not really a kid. I mean, she's my kid, but not in the sense that she's going to buy a lot of toys. She buys Nespresso machines and milk frothers and stuff like that. No. Amazon first launched a toy catalog in 2018 and mailed it to millions of customers. While it might seem that paper catalogs would be relegated to history with the advent of e-commerce, it seems as if, at least for these retailers, they were still part of doing business. Right. So, how is it that this still works? Well, one is the connection to the past. Okay, almost 40 years ago, the department store retailer Eaton's produced its first mail order catalog, with Simpsons following suit 10 years later. These catalogs are so important to the history of Canada, you can see them in the Library and Archives of Canada and the Canadian Museum of History. Some Christmas catalogs grew to hundreds of pages. So there's a nostalgia element. You know, I remember, I mean, we lived we had a half a mile long road to our mailbox. Our mailbox was at the end of the half a mile road. So whatever we got mattered. There was real value before we even got to the mailbox. And you know, my parents would give us the Sears catalog and we would circle stuff that we wanted for Christmas. And that was how we did it, you know, because we weren't going to traipse around. It was long roads with no freeway to get to the nearest town where there was, you know, decent shopping. And it made much more sense we didn't have a Sears store exactly. We had a Sears outlet pickup delivery point. And that was still a half an hour or more away driving. So they would give us the catalog and we would circle stuff, and then they would tell us that Santa, you know, might or might not be dependable. It was a good life lesson. But anyway, so people remember this. The three-dimensional tactile information received from interacting with paper documents reinforces people's memories. Okay? People had the experience of carefully going through each catalog page, marking it up and down, folding the pages, whether or not they received what they wanted. Yeah, as they said. Okay, and there's even some Canadian literature that references this process. The Hockey Sweater by Quebec writer Roche Carrier. Okay, emotion aside, how do catalogs influence sales? While nostalgia is powerful, companies must consider catalogs' effect on sales and return on investment. Toys R Us and Mastermind, both with physical stores, yeah, but I mean, not lately. I guess a store opened for Toys R Us in New Jersey, and Amazon have short corporate histories compared to Eaton's and Simpsons, later Simpsons Sears. None had mail-order businesses. Mastermind and Amazon grew up during the advent of e-commerce, so this seemingly old-fashioned technology seems curious. I agree. Let's consider that while social media seems to attract consumers' attention and quickly, digital clutter is a common consumer complaint. Yep. So you can't get to all the stuff that you want to get to on social media. There's just too much. So you basically winnow it down, and very few sites. The longer you're on the internet, the fewer the sites are that you regularly visit. That's the way it is. Okay? home-delivered catalogs can be part of leisure reading and are artifacts with aesthetic and symbolic and instrumental value. Catalogs present images and text that are viewed as the retailer intended, without the mediation imposed by screen size and device capabilities. Interesting. That's a point I hadn't really thought about, because I don't use my phone that much for anything but phone calls. My son calls me a boomer. Anyway, paper catalogs create a richer sensory experience compared to digital catalog or online store. Touch creates a sense of ownership. Here's another really great point. Touch, and I read a study on this a couple of years ago that I kind of forgot about. It creates a sense of ownership because you own the mailing piece. You can throw it out at your choice and not regret it and never have a negative implication from throwing it away. I think that's funny. So you have total ownership of that catalog when it comes, and it already focuses in your mind the idea that the stuff in here you already own. It's a question of choosing which that you want to actually purchase. But you already have ownership over these images, and they're three-dimensional tactile. It's a three-dimensional tactile object. So psychologically, there's a hugely powerful thing that goes on in your hand when you see a catalog that's interesting. For toy companies, the October to December window presents almost 50% of yearly sales. The critical job for toy retailers is to get the attention of consumers for their store. As Canada Post argues in a 2015 report, direct mail, research suggests, paper catalogs can serve as an effective trigger for visiting an online store and their physical presence in the home in leisure spaces. That was another nice turn of phrase I liked. Can act as an ongoing prompt or reminder to visit. Okay, so Amazon is connecting in a new way. That's what they're saying here. They've had some pushback on their labor practices and other things, but the catalog helps them tap into the long tradition of catalogs and connect in an emotional and surprising way with their consumers. Now, I didn't particularly like the Amazon catalog because it had no pricing, it had no copy. They really force you to the website, and I don't even remember that there were QR codes to take you right to the landing pages for the items in front of you, which something. If you're gonna force me to do that, at least give me some convenience. But anyway, they didn't, and apparently they're happy with it. They keep doing it. So thank you, Joanne McNeish, for that excellent piece. And that's all for today, folks, because I got friends coming over and family, and we're going to have another party with the leftovers of the other parties. So, Merry Christmas. Christ is born. Glorify him. And I don't see anybody making comments because probably nobody's goofy enough to be watching at this morning. So, have a great day.